Hello and welcome to Dash 28 Live. I'm your host, Mike Atkins, and today we are bringing you the first round matchups from the 2022 Mountaineer GT coming up this weekend in beautiful and scenic Martinsburg, West Virginia. Joining me are Ray Shields, Mike Austin, and Steve Forrester. Hey guys, welcome.
Yes.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. Mountaineer is going to be a 5-round GT, as I said, hosted in Martinsburg and run by Mr. Chris Fisher. So I'm not the TO, so if any questions come up about the event over the course of this evening, I cannot answer them because I am not in charge. Direct them to Chris. Thank you. About the event over the course of this evening. Somebody got the thing playing? I need to mute. Things I can tell you about Mountaineer is that it is going to be Northern Kings style scoring as opposed to blackjack. So that's something we can keep in mind when we're looking at armies. Because it is an additive scoring system, not a differential scoring system. So armies that like to go out and kill, even when they lose a whole lot of their own points in the process, tend to score a little bit better under Northern Kings because you don't have to worry about that attrition difference. Other than that, we will basically be going right on into the lists and the matchups. There is one thing that I do want to let everybody know, and that is Chris has asked everyone to please take a COVID test before they come sometime tomorrow or Friday before you leave. Rapid antigen tests are free, quick, and painless, and only take 15 to 20 minutes. So please do help Chris out and take one of those before you show up if you can, and just send him a photo of the result either via email to Chris at Troll Horde Games or just send it to him on Facebook. And once everybody knows that everybody's been tested and everybody's good, then we don't have to worry about anybody like wearing a mask or anything. We just have a good time with each other over the weekend since we're going to be in one room eating all meals together, playing together all the time anyway. It's just nice to have that extra level of comfort and assurance for everybody. All right. So, hey, coming in from the West Coast, we got Jeremy. What's up, Jeremy? And Bart. How you doing, Bart? All right. So let's talk about what the sort of overall meta looks like here. So we've got we've got 32 players, and we have 16 armies represented, and there are 6 Night Stalker armies, and that's what's up. That is what's up. There's 6 Night Stalkers, y'all. Then we got 3 each of Abyssal Dwarves, and Undead, which feels about right for the Mid-Atlantic. We got a couple of Forces of Nature list, a couple of Ratkin, a couple of Wordy, and a couple of Salamanders, and then we got a Brother Mark, a Green Lady, a Halfling, a Herd, 1 Ogres, which is a big swing from Pilgrimage when they were like 6 Ogres or something like that. 1 Sylvankin, 1 Twilightkin, and 1 Varangur. We also have a few folks coming in, I know, from Ohio, from out of region. So some of the lists we'll see, if the name doesn't look familiar or the list style seems very different, that might be because those folks are from out of region. In terms of list composition, average drops is coming in at 14. There is a 33 drop list.
Yeah, what the fuck? I just now noticed these numbers. I apparently didn't look at the lists enough because I'm looking at that and the 60 units right there. What the fuck?
Oh, we will
give you 3 guesses,
folks. We are saving the best for last on that one. There is a 33 drop 60 unit strength list, and it is my favorite list of all time. So on the low end,
I found it.
Yeah, you found it.
Yep.
It's kind of like when you see it, you're like, "Oh, of course, I should have known."
You know who it is.
You know it's coming. You know it's coming. But we'll just maintain the suspense a little longer. There are a few 12 drop lists on the low side, but the average does come in about 14, which is about what you'd expect. Then in terms of unit strength, 24 is about the average. There's 20 unit strength list, which is a little low, and then again, of course, there's the sky high 61. So if the drop and average unit strength numbers skew a little high, it's because there's a significant outlier on the high end. So yeah,
the highest drops significantly outdoes the average unit strength.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yes.
I'm also surprised there's not as much shooting or elves as you would expect from a Mid-Atlantic tournament.
Well, there's plenty of filth tied up in those one-ofs with the Brother Mark, the Halflings, the Ogres, the Sylvan Twilight Kin lists. Those are not nice things to be playing with. So there's plenty of filth going around.
Yep. All right, so now let's talk about the scenario real quick. The round 1 scenario will be Plunder, also known as Super Loots, also known as put both of the 2-point tokens on one flank and then ignore the entire rest of the table. So that's what's up. I don't have a map to show anybody, so we'll all get to see what that is when we get there on Saturday morning. But Chris's maps tend to be pretty well balanced, so I wouldn't expect terrain to play a huge factor. It shouldn't be, the sort of thing where whoever picks the side is pretty much guaranteed to win. The maps tend to be pretty easy. What? I'm totally not subtweeting anything. I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. Anyway, so before we get on to the first round matchup, I would like to remind everybody that these broadcasts are done purely for entertainment purposes. The commentary that you are about to witness is all done in good fun and in good humor. We are all friends here. Regardless of what we might say about your list, we're just having a good time and building a little anticipation, a little excitement for the tournament, and having a good time doing it. So don't take anything we say too seriously, because we're usually not much better than a coin flip at predicting winners. And like I said, it is all in good fun. So that having been said,
Thank you for the disclaimer.
Yes, we all know who the disclaimer was for. All right, so we've got 16 tables. So let's check out table 1. So this is going to be our first visitor versus regional local. This is John Carter from Ohio against Kat Royer. John is bringing Ratkin, which I'm not sure if that's his regular list or not. I feel like I played him at Nerdhammer and he had Ogres, so I'm not sure if this is. I'm not sure how much he plays Ratkin. And Kat is, of course, playing Salamanders, which she's gotten plenty of experience with, as that's her regular army. They both come in at 14 drops each. A little bit more unit strength on the Salamander side at 21 to 19. Over on the Ratkin side, he's got the smoke, mirrors, and death. Go ahead, Ray. You're a Ratkin dude.
Yeah. Looking at John Carter's list, it is a Ratkin list like I've never seen before. There's an awful lot of shooting. There isn't really the main line that you would see provided either by shock troop hordes or regiments. And what's interesting to note about this list is the various speeds. He hits just about every number from 10 with the Rat Demon and the Master Scurrier with the wings of Honey Maze, 9 with the Hack Paws, 8 with the Tunnel Runners, and down. So this is a deceptively fast and shooting list, which is not normally what you would expect from a Ratkin list or a Ratkin style that I've seen before.
I'm so glad you said that, because when I was looking at it, I'm like, this seems like a deceptively different Ratkin list. So I'm glad you picked up on that, and I wasn't imagining things. And then Cat Salamanders. She's got a couple of Tyrant Hordes, some Rhinosaur Cav, some Ember Sprites, because those are really good chaff, a couple of Fire Elementals, some shooting, the Pale Rider, Artakal, things that you normally see in a Salamander list, I feel like. So Ray already started talking about what he thought of the Ratkin list, so I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. Steve, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Cat, I think, is going to have an uphill battle because that is a lot of defense 4. I mean, the Unblooded Horde is defense 4. Tyrants are defense 4. And John's bringing a lot of the shooting with the smoke, mirrors, and death formation, which is, in my opinion, top 3 of all the formations. So that being said, I'm gonna just, not knowing what the table's gonna look like, I'm gonna go with John.
All right, Mike.
I mean, it's a different Ratkin list. I don't know that it's a good Ratkin list. It could be if the person knows how to use it. John, I don't know you. I'm sorry. I haven't been out on the scene much lately. But it's one of those lists where it's good. The upside is also potentially the bad side, where there's no real, anvil, right? It's a bunch of things just kind of floating around on their own without a real core to rely upon. versus a tried and true cat list. Cat certainly is somebody that knows what she's doing with salamanders, unlike a lot of people, including me, apparently. I'll go with Cat. Cat knows what she's doing. She's at least has to know something about Ratkin, given Mike plays Ratkin. I like to think she listens to him talk about it a little bit. Yeah. And Cat's list is just clean, essentially. Yeah, there's defense for and tyrants. There's defense for and there's unblooded, but unblooded they're really just chaff. So I think the rest of the list is solid with the graders, the rounders, all the fun stuff. So I'll go Cat.
Cool. Ray, what do you think?
And I think I'll break the tie by going with Cat. I like the list that she has. She brings the heavy hordes that will be able to do enough damage to take out just about anything in the Ratkin list, especially with the tyrants with 30 attacks to cause the pain. And I don't see that solid core for a mission like Loot that you would want. I know it's not Loot, it's Thunder, but for that style of mission. So I think from a scenario perspective, Cat has it.
Okay, interesting. Do I want to make it overwhelmingly one way, or do I want to make it a balanced thing?
Just flip a coin. Just be real.
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm actually gonna go with John. I think Cat's gonna. I think what Steve was saying. I think Cat's gonna have trouble with. Yeah, like Mike Ireland, her dude plays Ratkin, but this is a very different kind of Ratkin list. So I don't know that that's gonna necessarily help her out a whole lot. So I think I'm gonna go with John. I've played John before. He's a nice dude. Be nice to see him again.
Being nice doesn't win battles if I've learned anything in my life.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's move on to table 2. We have Joey Greek versus Joe Borghese. This is going to be Night Stalkers versus League of Ordia, our first of 6 Night Stalker lists. Joey's list is bringing back the Creepy Army, 13 drops at 20 unit strength to Joe's 12 drops and 23 unit strength, so he's got a little more there. A lot of the Night Stalker list, you're going to see a lot of the same units over and over again. You're going to see a lot of Butchers. You're going to see a lot of Soul Flayers. You're going to see Shakira. You're going to see a pretty good number of Mind Screeches. So, like Joey's list is kind of right on what I would say the mainline Night Stalker meta is at the moment, given that we have such a large sample of it showing up here. And then over on Joe's side, I don't know how long Joe has been playing League of Ordia, but I do kind of like his list. That Dogs of War Horde is pretty cool. He's got a lot of knights. He's got a lot of stuff that synergizes well with knights. He's got some Bane Chant behind him, and he's got some rallying for knights behind them so they can grind a bit. And he's got a couple of flying wizards with lightning bolt to fly around and cause trouble. And the battle shrine is just a really good unit. So let's move up one space and start with Mike.
I mean, from the onset, I'm not going to pick Joey.
This is true. I should have just filled it in.
You should just let the names out, and then maybe I'd be unbiased. But in all seriousness, I actually really like Joe's list. I'm surprised we haven't seen more Dogs of War Hordes. I think that they have some really neat things with the 3 different options. He's got, 2 knights, 3 honor guards. That's a lot of killing power. The dukes to get in the way, the wizards to. It's a pretty refined list. Honestly, it's really good. I know Joey kind of knows how to play the game every once in a while, but Joe it is.
All right. Ray, what do you think?
I love Joey. He always beats me. So with that being said, I really like Joe's list. It's about as subtle as an anvil or a freight train coming Joey's way. And I just don't know how Joey's going to deal with that amount of iron through the 3 iron guards and 2 night regiments. If anyone can do it, it's Joey. I haven't beat him in quite a long time, but I'm still going to place my bet on Joe.
For Joe or Joey? Joe.
It's gonna be one of those things where we'll get to the end and people will claim like, no, I said Joey. I clearly said Joe.
I'm saying Joe, knowing that Joey will always beat me, and therefore I'm probably making a bad bet. But
all right, Steve, what do you think?
I'm gonna be a homer and go with my clubmate Joey.
Clubs, get out of here.
Joey has 49 Wind Blast in this list. So and he's got.
So what? It's just wind blast.
I think he's going to be able to really dictate where the lines happen. So I'm going to go again just to be the homer. I'm going with Joey.
And
I've never heard an argument for the volume of wind blast on a list being the reason for somebody winning.
Well, I could see where if
I get it. I'm just teasing.
Yeah. If one of the things that a list has on you is speed, then being able to be like, all right, you push your whole battle line forward. I'm going to push all except one unit of it all the way back to where it started. Come at me again, haha.
So should we pick a draw, maybe?
No, I think I'm actually going to go with Joey. I'm going to keep doing the whole. We're 2-2 on everything. We'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, I'm going to go with Joey because I don't know how long Joe has been playing League of Rortia. I really like his list, but I know how long Joey's been playing Night Stalkers, so I'll just go with Army experience.
I think the clutch question is Joey's Bane Chant too, and whether or not that goes off.
I mean, really, the one thing we have to remember is that this match is taking place first thing on Saturday and not Sunday morning, so Joey's likely to win. And moving on to table 3. All right, so this is going to be George O'Connell versus Mark Howard. This is an ogre. This is our only ogre list, I think, versus the first of our 3 undead lists. George's ogres are coming in at 17 drops and 28 unit strength compared to Mark's 14 drops and 31 unit strength. So a few more ogre drops. George is doing that. He's living that ogre MSU life. He's got 7 warrior regiments, 3 warlocks, 3 sergeants with heavy crossbows. Nom. Then he added in some Northern Alliance allies to get some more shooting, I guess, and a Lord on Frostfang, which is a really solid unit. And then over on Mark's side, he has all of the zombie legions. He has a grand total of 6 with the 4 that he's bringing, plus the 2 for the formation. Zombie Troll Horde, a couple of Core Blights, a couple of Burrowing Worms, and some characters for surging and inspiring. It's a whole lot of tar pit that it's going to take a whole lot to get through. George has an awful lot of shooting, but I don't know how many zombie legions is he going to take off the table in a turn, I guess, is maybe what the question is going to come down to there. Where did we start? I'm going to ask, let's start with Ray.
So I'm going to go with George on this one. It pains me to say it, to go with Ogre MSU, but I think George actually has the shooting with the Ogre Warlocks, each with 3 or 4 lightning bolts plus 3 for the regiments. So you're looking at 18 there. 7 for Nom is 25, and then the Ice Hunter regiments. He has an awful lot of shooting, so I think George has the shooting to get through the zombie legions.
All right, Steve.
Yeah, I've played Zettelmeyer because this is a pretty similar list to what Mike Zettelmeyer plays, and I can't beat it. That being said, Jeremy just put in the chat. It's not a list that George really wants to see, and I have to kind of agree with that. It's 6 legions of zombies. George has the speed advantage for the most parts, and the zombies are pretty slow. When you're thinking of it with the scenario in mind, and all of George's stuff scores too. So yeah, I'm gonna go with George as well. But
all right.
It does not surprise me that George is not thinking for himself yet again. Good job, George. I'll just never pick George. So I'll leave it at that. I mean, his reality is that Undead Army is going to have a hard time killing anything in any way because he can't get around that amount of ogres with the worms and try to get the flanks that you need. And the army's hard to play against. Not gonna lie. I don't know how much George has played it other than playing against himself. But I don't really care. I'll still pick Mark.
Yeah, this is the second table in a row where I really should have just pre-filled yours.
I'm a
And
simple man.
And I am also going to go for Mark because undead over ogres all day, every day. Hooah. All right, moving on. This I think might be the only challenge match we have, and so this is battle of the former U.S. Masters. We got Alex Chavez versus Eric Trowbridge. So when your game ends quickly, go watch this one. That's all I can say. Or if
King's Or tactics.
Yeah, if one of you guys has a phone, so just set it up and point it at the table for us, please, and stream it someplace, and we'll watch it later. So this is going to be another one of our Night Stalkers list versus Forces of Nature. 14 drops and 23 unit strength on the Night Stalker side, over to 13 drops and 22 unit strength on the Forces of Nature side. So pretty close. Alex's list again, has all of the Night Stalker stuff that we're going to see over and over again. He's got Butchers. He's got Shadowhawks, he's got Soul Flayers, he's got Shakira, plus a few other things. The Horror Rift Weavers, I think maybe only one other person took. That's kind of a cool little monster unit. He's got some Scarecrows for Chaff and also some Needle Fangs for Chaff. And Shadowhawks are just really, really good. They're just so good at what they do. And then, all right, so...
But now this Forces of Nature list is really neat, too.
But that Forces of Nature list, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the Riverbound Naiad Worm Riders in use yet, but they have Speed 7 instead of Speed 8 with Crushing 1 and Thunderous 2. So they're a bit more of a hammer than what you would normally expect. The greater air elementals provide an awful lot of maneuverability that is often not accounted for, and he has the Surge to make use of their ability to get the flanks. So that Forces of Nature list that Eric's running is deceptive. I absolutely agree. I think this is one that I would love to have streamed and be able to watch at some point in time.
Yep.
So
that being triple said, greater elemental.
I'm going to vote for my clubmate because I am not unbiased.
Man, raise the gunner today.
That's right. All right, Steve, what do you think?
That's 3 greater air elementals. I'm surprised kind of Eric is going with the Salamander Prime Hordes as opposed to, it's basically, if you take away the Salamanders, this is kind of the meta list, except he's taking the Salamanders over the formation. I think the air elemental formation is probably the best in the game right now. Both of them will be very tough to crack. I mean, either I think the both of them will try to get around on a flank on the other one, and I don't know whoever gets that first. Just for club rivalry, I'm going to go with Eric.
All right.
Poor choice, Steve. Poor choice.
I know.
Mike, what do you think?
Do you want to make it 3 in a row that you can just pick for me?
Yes, that's fine.
Alex, I do want to add commentary. I do think, this nature meta that's evolving is certainly a thing. And against, an inexperienced player or even a mildly, moderately, and decently experienced player, that list probably wins, but it's Alex, so I stick with Alex.
Yep. And I see Jeremy and I are thinking alike. When I look at the Salamander Prime Hordes, I'm like, no, he just misses having the footprint of the Orc Hordes. That's all that is. That's the exact size that he thinks units are supposed to be.
Supposed to be. Yeah.
Yep. I appreciate that he's not taking the formation and is mixing it up a little bit, but I think it's still a super potent Forces of Nature list. However, I'm also still going to vote for Alex because I'm not voting against a clubmate. Nah.
Yeah. And we all know what happens if you vote against Alex. It doesn't end well.
Yeah, it does not end well. No, so maybe I should vote against Alex because then he's like guaranteed it. No, I'm just going to vote for Alex. It's fine.
He's so mean.
You're out of the club. Son of a bitch.
Just whip me again. I'm sorry, sir.
All right. Moving on to table 5. Big
Matt Griffin versus Noah Hutton. Wait, what?
What? Nope.
Matt Griffin? No. Wait.
No.
Yeah, let's play Mike Griffin is against.
Sorry.
Versus Noah Hutton. So that's Jake's brother, isn't it?
Yep, that's Jake's younger brother.
Making his tournament debut here, I think.
Yep.
against Alex, who I played at Pilgrimage. He's one of the newer Pennsylvania guys.
Yep. Big Al.
Yep, Big Al. So this is our Sylvankin list versus one of our, I think, 3 Abyssal Dwarf lists. Coming in at 12 drops, 24 unit strength to 13 drops, 25 unit strength. So again, kind of right in there. And yeah, Al's list is very similar to.
It's literally the
It's
entire.
Hold on.
It's
I've got the cup. So Bart, remind me to bring the cup. Thank you. Actually, no, seriously, remind me to bring the cup, or I will forget it. It's still in my basement from Vanguard.
it's not in your bed. What is wrong with you?
I think Robin might have.
Kick Robin out. It's you in the cup. Give me the cup. I haven't earned it in any way, but I'll sleep with it. It needs cuddling.
Yeah.
Right,
To answer your question, Jeremy, yes, it is Jake's list, and actually my regiment of flame bearers.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a Sylvankin versus Abyssal Dwarf matchup. It's 5 Glade Stalkers, double Stormwind Cav, a Greater Air Elemental, a Master Hunter, a Wolffather, another Tree Herder, and that hitting on 2 Elven King, going speed 7 on foot, like a cheating elf or vampire. Over on the Abyssal Dwarf side, you got a Black Souls Horde, some Gargoyle Troops, a Decimator Horde, a bunch of half-breed regiments, Brachybarka and Bazuzu, and then some Forces of the Abyss allies, just to get, I guess, a little more shooting in, or a little slightly longer range shooting, right? 18-inch, everything else over here is only 12. And an Abyssal Fiend, because why not? All right, what do we think? Who am I on? I've lost my spot. Where was that notation? Mike, all right, what do you think?
I'm soapboxing for a second. This copy and list stuff is getting a little silly. That's my soapbox. I'll leave it at that, but have some creativity. I don't know, Alex. I don't know. No, I do know Noah, but being Jake's little brother doesn't do you any good for your reputation of playing the game. I'll pick based purely on the lists, and the Glade Stalker Army is going to win. There you go.
Seems reasonable. Ray, what do you think?
I'm not sure if the Sylvankin like this scenario.
They don't care about scenario. They shoot things off the board for 5 turns and go, "Oh, look, a token."
Oh, so you play the game the way you play elves?
Yep, that's right.
5 turns to kill and then 1 turn of scenario?
6 and maybe a 7th for scenario. That's actually how I did it.
Now, the Wolffather and Tree Herder can scout up onto both the 2-point tokens and just pick them up at the beginning of the game.
They make the scenario game really easy. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, then just to be obstinate and to choose opposite of Mike, I'm going to go with Noah just to say screw you, Mike.
All right. I accept.
All right. What do you think, Steve?
I'm not going against the clubmate, so I'm going with Noah. That being said, it's going to be a very tough matchup for him. Just with all of it. He does have regen on his defense 4 stuff, but he with 5 regiments of Glade Stalkers, you're losing 1 half-breed regiment on a turn. So yeah, I'm going to go with but I'm going to go with Noah just because.
Okay. I don't know. That makes sense. I don't know how many games of Kings of War Noah has played, but I know Alex has at least been to a tournament before. So I'm going to go with Big Al.
6 or 7 games, maybe.
Right. I'm going to go with Big Al just on overall game experience.
How big is Al? Because maybe I'll take back my commentary about copying lists.
He's pretty big. I mean, when you
called
called him
for a reason.
When you called him Matt Griffin, I was like, if you add just 6 inches in every dimension, then sure.
Hey, buddy, copy all the lists you want. It's cool. I love you.
All right, table 6 is going to be Alan Boehner versus Tom Strother. Twilightkin versus Abyssal Dwarf. So again, we have the one of the elf lists versus an Abyssal Dwarf list. It's a theme. So over on they're both 13 drops and 23 units strength. Even Steven. Alan Boehner is bringing the heat. For Twilight Glade Stalker units are tough to deal with. Abyssal Horsemen are really good. Triple Mind Screeches. Mikael, Lathiel. It's nasty. And then Thomas is bringing Abyssal Dwarves with some Siegebreaker Hordes. has Ogre Allies and Red Goblin Bigots. He's also got Braggy Barka and Bazuzu. A couple of lesser sitting Golden Hordes with Defense 6, and man, are they going to need it.
It won't matter. They get poisoned, melee down to death by Glade Stalker.
God.
This is
Dirty.
like the prime matchup for Mikael, if I recall correctly, because they will double against a lot of what Thomas has in his list.
No, it's only against monsters and heroes. So
Yeah,
it's
monsters
only,
and heroes.
so not the units at all.
Not monsters and no. So
Yeah.
Okay,
But it will kill the shit out of Bracky and Basusu.
yeah.
So I absolutely, and even if he's not doubled, he's still absolutely vicious with his 7 or 8 dice. Like I remember playing against him for the first time at Vanguard, and that is just an evil list. And then you have the stealth bubble for your 4 Twilight Glade Stalker regiments. So here I have all the advantages of Sylvan Cannon. I can hit you in combat and wound you on 4s. It is an absolutely evil list, and the siege breakers just don't matter. So I'm going to go with Alan.
All right.
Sorry,
Steve.
Thomas. It's just good luck.
I everything that it just Alan just has a counter for everything that what Thomas wants to do. Just like the last table, those half breeds are if they're there on turn 3, it'll be because past turn 3, it'll be because Thomas is either hiding them or there's some really bad dice. And then in combat, Thomas doesn't have anything to reach back out and touch the Glade Stalkers. And he has 0 shooting, so counter shooting. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough matchup for Thomas. So I'm gonna go with Alan.
All right.
It's going to be a tough matchup is always a very nice way of saying so-and-so is going to get slaughtered. So I'll just say it. Thomas, you're going to get slaughtered. I'm sorry. This is just when you have your catapults, you can at least put some threat, get those crazy one-shots. But with nothing to even, like Steve said, to touch those Glade Stalkers that just have their way. With the fast things first, and then by the time the slow things get there, those Glade Stalkers alone can basically kill Thomas's entire army. I mean, it's just a bad matchup, to say the least. Nothing mean about it. I mean, we all know Alan's list is just as dirty as it gets right now. And it looks for defense 6 stuff with those Glade Stalker melee, and especially when they can shoot the fast stuff that's defense 4. It's just a good old-fashioned slaughter. Now, if Thomas wins, cool. It's because
I'm going
he's
to comment at the Atlantic City Open event because Alan brought Forces of Nature, and I said that Alan must have grown a conscience, and he promptly lost it again.
He never had it.
He never had it.
It was
just something he was borrowing.
It was a head fake.
Yeah.
All right. So as much as I don't like clean sweeps, no, sorry, Thomas. Okay, enough of that one. Let's move on to something more fun. Table 7 is going to be Bart Kohler versus Ed Fisk. Delightful, folks. 12 drops in Order of the Green Lady list for Bart at 21 unit strength. And Ed is bringing his fairly standard League of Rordia that he's been playing for a while. It's coming in at 15 drops at 20 unit strength, and that is a 4 Honor Guard Horde list, triple cannon, flying wizard, battle shrine, foot guard, and then Bart is bringing a little bit of alpha strike, a little bit of shooting support there. Order of Redemption Regiment, a couple of the Forsaken Hordes, a couple of Beasts of Natures, a couple of Pegasus, a couple of Flying Redeemers, and some Heart Piercers. So where were we? I think maybe we were on Steve.
Is it me? I was
Yeah.
Again, this is going to be just a very loud table.
Loud table.
Like
This game is going to be over in 45
It's just going to be so loud. But yeah, I'm going to go with that. Still up
Right, of course. Yeah, right, of course.
And those, I mean, if Ed gets hot with those cannons, that Bart could be coming in with Forsaken Hordes, and there's still a lot of lightning bolt there too. So yeah, I'm going with that.
Don't get me started on Ed and his goddamn cannon from Vanguard. Motherfucking bastard. It's really, I'm usually mean to at least one person when I do these, but these two are both very nice guys. So I feel really bad being mean to. So no mean comments. They're both good players, fun players to play against, in my opinion. I have a blast against them. I think Ed has the experience. I know Bart's just thrown this list together in the past 24 hours. So, 48. Sorry, Bart.
Something like that.
I do think it's in Ed's advantage, mainly because of the chaff that Ed has available to him, and he knows how to use it very well. So I go in Ed, but Bart, you're my favorite.
Ray.
I would normally have to vote for Bart, because normally Bart would be playing Trident rounds, but he let me down. He's trying to be all fancy in advance of the Masters and trying out his army and getting practice, and we all know that that's not the way Ed works. Ed's first turn is going to be, 14 inches up? And it doesn't matter what Bart does.
Yeah.
Ed's coming the other 14 inches in turn 2, and turn 3, the game's going to be over one way or the other. That's my prediction. Turn 3, game over. And I'm voting on Ed because Bart's not using Trident rounds. Bart, love you. You're my Trident round buddy, but you didn't bring them.
Yep, turn 3, this game's over. They go watch Alex and Eric play for the second half of the round.
Yeah, I want somebody to report on how long this game lasts. Because these are two guys that I got Ed thinking a little bit against me when I played in Vanguard, but traditionally I watch Ed play. And here you go. All right, next, and Bart. He can't stop for even a split second to think about something until after he's done it. And your turn. He goes, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, that was a bad idea." So they're just gonna go. Game over. It's gonna be 45 minutes, an hour at most. Bloodbath.
This is gonna be like an old school hockey fight where one guy's both of them got a hold of their jersey and they're just trading haymakers to the push.
And then both the benches clear and everyone's gonna be in the middle of the center ice and yeah.
And then here's the difference though, is Ed's gonna have the wherewithal to go, "Oh, we're playing a scenario. Let me get this." And
let me grab this one token.
So I'm actually going to vote for Bart because double Pegasus, double Beast of Nature, and double Flying Redeemers are all good for picking up loot tokens at the end of the game if he's managed to keep them alive. And also, I've been thinking about making a Green Lady army for a long time, so I'm just gonna lean that way.
Right.
Go get him, Bart. You can do it.
Yeah,
I believe in you.
I won't be upset if Bart wins, of course. We all know this.
We will know if Bart's winning, or will we know if Bart's winning? Ed's loud either way. You can't tell if it was good for him or not.
Yeah.
You'll just hear Ed yelling, and you'll be like, either he just routed something or he's losing. I don't know what's happening.
I still can't believe he spent, 3-4 games in that room at your place for Vanguard? It was just an echo chamber of Ed. No matter where in the house you were, it was like,
So I had 2 games next to him. It was awesome. It's like even being next to him is awesome.
It's great.
Both these guys are great.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to table number 8. It's going to be Bill Goodrick versus Eric Schaefer. So this is a herd versus salamander matchup. Bill's herd list is coming in at 13 drops and 21 unit strength to Eric's 14 drops and 24 unit strength, so a little more on the salamander side. I don't know how long Eric's been playing salamanders. He had been playing Empire Dust for a while, but I do know that this is basically the herd list that Bill has been practicing with for quite a long time. He's got that cool silent hunt formation where the trackers like hide in terrain and do automatic damage to you if you charge them or whatever. It's kind of interesting. And he's got a Wolf Father and a Stampede, which is always fun. But then let's take a little bit of a look at Eric's salamander list, because this is, I think, different for him. He's got a Prime Regiment. He's got a Dakota Hunter Regiment. He's got some Scorch Wings. He's got triple Rhinosaur Cavalry Hordes. Okay, now I see it. Triple Commandants. Right, triple Skylord on Scorch Wings, Artackle, and Rakawas, which seems super popular amongst our Salamander players, both those characters there. Okay, so it's a large cav horde based army. All right, cool. Who are we around to? Mike, I think.
That's me. Yeah, weird to see Eric with Salamanders. Did not see that coming. I just played as Salamanders and beat Bill this past weekend. So hopefully Bill knows what he's getting into. And I know that Salamanders aren't as good on the table as they are on paper, including Rhinosaurs. They're just slow. They're so slow. Speed is the most important thing in the game, in my opinion. And my opinion is fact. Herd, Bill, don't let me down. Your experience against my Salamander list should come in handy and go win.
All right. Ray.
I think the Lycan hordes having the nimble are going to be critical. Beast of Nature. I
Fast army.
I think the herd have the speed to get through the Salamanders, so I'm going to go with Bill on this one. Yeah.
All right. Steve.
I really like Eric's list. I like the Skylords and Scorchwings. I like the Scorchwing hordes. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not sold on Rhinos or Gav. They're just like Mike said. They're slow, but there's really no shooting on either side to kind of mitigate the glass hammery nature of the herd list. And Bill's been playing this list, playing herd for years. So I'm gonna go with Bill as well.
You feel obligated to pick Eric, but you also don't think you want to, do you, Mike?
Thank you for accurately summarizing the situation. All right, fine. I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote Eric. I'm gonna vote Eric. So it's not
There
a
it is.
because I think he has a decent chance.
He has a chance. Don't get me wrong, but
Yep.
the speed of that herd army and it punches hard. It's a surprising punch in that army.
It is, and Eric doesn't have the kind of anvils that you expect to see in a salamander army to soak those things up. He doesn't have hordes. He's only got regiments, so it's going to be rough. But for the sake of avoiding a clean sweep, I'll still vote for Eric anyway. I already voted clean sweep once. I can only do it so many times in a broadcast.
Yeah, I got you.
Table 9. Hey, Brian Swinson versus me. So it's going to be a dwarf versus undead match. 15 drops and 22 unit strength on the dwarf side versus 13 drops and 23 unit strength for me. Brian is bringing a whole lot of stuff that I don't really want to see. The Royal Guard formation is really good.
It's really tough.
And a couple of organ guns and Gollix Fury and a Dwarf Lord on Large Beast are all really good. And dogs throwing dogs. And,
awful lot of heal.
An awful lot of heal. That's my thing. What are you doing? That's my shtick. And then over on my side, I got some zombies. I got some zombie trolls. I got a Revenant Horde with Life Leech 3. I've got the deceptively skinny-looking thick chaff that are Wraith troops. Some whites. Some Soul Reaver infantry with waiver mitigation. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be hard. This is a tough nut to crack over on the dwarf side, for certain. Who are we over to? Is Ray's turn, I think?
Well, I'm going to continue with my same comment that I made with Alex earlier. Never vote against a clubmate, so I'm voting for Mike.
All right.
Mike, I think this is going to be really tough because that's an awful lot of Radiance of Life heal in that dwarf list. And it's a solid frontal line with the Rock Riders, the Large Beast, and the Fury to all provide like counterpunch. Maybe not necessarily the speed to help with the scenario, but if it can weather your storm, then it can hit back really hard and be something to be worried about.
Mm-hmm. Steve.
God, both lists did the same thing, right? They just want to kind of close it and grind forever. And you both have the ability to grind forever. There's not a lot of beyond the Mastiffs, which, don't get me wrong, Mastiffs are cool, but they're so risky for being kind of like a reliable shooting option. Other than Mastiffs, the organ guns, and Gollix Fury. Oh man, I'm just gonna be contrarian and go with Ryan.
Fair. All right, Mike, what do you think?
It was kind of unfair when Chris bowed out and you hosted and you brought two club mates on and asked us who we're gonna pick. You know, we been a bias. This might be a political party going on here. I'll certainly pick you, Mr. Sir Host, he who is in charge. I know, I'm really curious how this list does, the dwarf list. A lot of shooting, a lot of resiliency with the tough units and healing, but it's, again, back to the last matchup. It's so slow. From a scenario standpoint, you're starting out behind from the onset. This scenario might not be the worst, but like a pillage or somewhere you have to go chasing down territory, like a control, it's going to struggle through the tournament. But I like what it's doing with the shooting, a nice variety of units, not just the same old Brocks and Rocks that Mr. Chavez, made so popular, and dwarves. I do like the uniqueness, the originality of this list. But from a scenario standpoint, I think that you, Mike, can just jump on the scenario and win on that alone without him ever really getting to you. So I think it's a win.
Mike, I think that dwarf list will do surprisingly well in scenario play just because it is so resilient. Even in something like control, it can control the three sides, and put enough shooting to cause you to come to it.
You definitely have to go to it, but I mean, you can get flanked. Think about these fast armies, the other shooting armies like the Sylvan and Twilight can. They just get to kind of do what they want from a board control perspective. That's the problem. I know it has shooting. I know that it can hold its line, but where can it get? It just can't get far. It can't pick its fights very well. It doesn't have much to really initiate fights. Dwarf and Large Breeze can initiate the fight, but everything else, it's vulnerable. We're talking regiments. Regiments, even if they're tough, they can get combo charge and they're gone. And most of the time everything else will be out of range because 8 inches is just measly. It doesn't do anything. And that's just, speed still wins to me. That's just the key factor.
And it's weird to call the undead list the fast one, but
it is.
But in this instance, it probably is. I'm gonna abstain because I feel weird voting for myself. I will say that I was really excited when I saw this matchup, and I'm excited to get to hang out with Brian and play him. He came up to Vanguard, and he came up to the Richmond Open, and I got to hang out with him there. So I'm just looking forward to having fun playing against somebody that I haven't played against before. And we will see how it goes. I appreciate the votes of confidence. I will try not to screw it up.
Fucking don't, because again, Alex will come for you.
Alex will come for me. Can't lose the cup. Got a 3-peat, baby. Need that hat trick. Here we go. It's gonna be. Yeah, it's. I don't know that I would bet on us to take the cup off this time, but we'll see what happens. So table 10 is going to be Dale Motley versus Matt Schenker. So this is a Dwarf versus Night Stalker matchup. 14 drops over on the Dwarf side with 23 unit strength versus 12 drops, nice and lean and elite with 26 unit strength over on the Night Stalker side. Very different Dwarf list, I think, than the one we were just looking at. He doesn't have the formation. He's got 3 tanks.
3 Steel Behemoths.
3 Steel Behemoths. 3 Berserker Brock Rider regiments. A couple of Sharpshooter troops, which are pretty good. Dwarf on Large Beast, Berserker Lord with a Gnome Glass Shield and mounted. Over on the Night Stalker side, he's got a Bloodworm Legion with Hammer of Measured Force, which I think is pretty cool. He's got a couple of Reaper regiments, which he might be the only person rocking those here. I can't remember of the 6 Night Stalker lists. A lot of Butchers, but some of the things that are really common in the other Night Stalker lists he's not bringing, like Soul Flayers and Shakira, and doesn't have either Shadow Hulks or Void Lurkers, which I think he might be the only Night Stalker list that doesn't have those. Let's start with Ray.
Well, we've seen 2 different Dwarf lists in a row, and each one's very different. The last one had a very solid line, was very much come at me, bro, and I have the heal to look after it. This one's almost one of those I'm going to go forward and try to do the charges, and I'm going to use my steel behemoths as chaff because you kind of have to hit them. So I don't even know how to play this. Like I see the Night Stalkers with Hammer of Measured Force, and they have some of the tools, the Butchers, to kind of go through that defense 6, but that's an awful lot of defense 6 on the dwarf side. I don't know either of the players very well.
I know Matt's from North Carolina, and he's fairly new. He was at Vanguard. I think that might have been his first tournament. And Dale is one of the Pennsylvania guys. He's been playing.
Guy.
Yeah, he's a Nerdhammer guy. He's been playing for at least a year. I've seen him at 3 or 4 tournaments, I'm sure.
Yeah,
both of these
lists
lists
all the time.
Dale's list would throw me for a loop. Matt's list, I'm probably a bit more comfortable if I had to go up against, but I think it has the tools. I'm going to go with Dale's because it's unique. It's a dwarf list I've never seen before.
All right. Steve.
I mean, the stuff, like all, I think both players are gonna have trouble like moving the other. The behemoths, everything. The behemoths on 4s, and in combat. That's a tough. It's a very coin flippy. I'm gonna go with Dale just from. I just think experience, because I know he's been playing dwarves for a really long time. So that's purely what I'm basing this on is the experience.
All right, Mike.
Terrain. Butchers get fucked by terrain horribly. Fiends, yeah, they have sharpness, but it's still terrain. Versus the Strider coming out of the Behemoths is a big factor to me. Behemoths used to be slow and very difficult to use, but not anymore. And I don't know if this is the same list Dale played at Atlantic City, but he knows what he's doing. I have had the chance to play Dale. I think he was relatively new at the time when I played him at Crossroads last fall. Great player, and was very quickly learning to get good. And this list really shows me that he's learned what he needed to do from a list building perspective to be good at playing the army. I think he's going to be a good top contender. We've seen these Nerdhammer guys kind of the sleeper Nerdhammers come out of nowhere with Griffin, and now Dale. I think is something not to ignore as well. Don't know Matt. Matt, I saw you're on YouTube watching this. Don't take this personally by any means, but I think that dwarf list is going to be a tough one for you to get through. Defense 6, Butchers are nice with Crush 2 and everything, but if you get hindered on any charges, they're just swinging and missing. There's Butchers, there's Behemoths hit way harder than Brock's hit super hard. It's a tough list. It's Brock's and Rocks, but instead of Rocks, you got Behemoths and a Dwarf and Large Beast. It's the same idea, and it's got shooting. So I am taking Dale.
All right. I am going to pick Matt because no clean sweeps. Well, we already had the one clean sweep, but no more clean sweeps. I think he's got Phantom Troops and a Bloodworm Legion with Hammer of Measured Force. So I think he could chaff up some Steel Behemoths and take them off like one at a time, maybe, or at least avoid a triple charge, and they'll probably survive a double charge. So I think he's got the tools that he could do it if he plays really smart and really carefully. It's going to be an uphill battle, but I'm still going to vote for Matt because
he's got
Actually, out of curiosity, does either person in this list have either Pathfinder or Strider?
The Behemoths have Strider. That's the thing.
Behemoths have Strider.
That's a huge factor to me.
Like, there's no other Pathfinder on either side.
Didn't look like he took it.
No, I don't think so.
But,
all right.
Yeah.
So moving on to table 11, David Baker versus Justin Lingle. I think David is one of the Ohio folks, I believe. And Justin is, of course, one of the Nerdhammer guys. So this is another one of our Night Stalker lists versus Forces of Nature list. I think this is our other Forces of Nature list. They're both coming in at 14 drops, although the Night Stalkers have a little bit more unit strength than the Forces of Nature. Checking out that Night Stalker list, it looks pretty familiar. It's got the Horror Riftweaver, it's got Butchers, it's got Scarecrows and Phantoms and Soul Flayers and Shadow Hulks and a Void Lurker. and a shade instead of Shakira, which is maybe the only notable difference between it and a lot of the other Night Stalker lists. And then over on the Forces of Nature side, there's that Nature's Wrath formation, which is so good, and a whole bunch of elementals, just a whole bunch of elementals. It's a pretty solid Forces of Nature list, I think.
It's Alan's army, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Alan's army.
I
Yeah,
think so.
I was
I think
say
so.
I was looking at it earlier, and it's the same. It's the army that Alan.
He's literally going to
Yeah.
be using Alan's army because Alan's using
Right.
Alan's army.
Alan's using the Twilight Kid army. So yeah, club mates sharing armies, cool.
Who does that? Oh wait, Alex is using mine.
I was about to say, yeah.
Multiple times.
So Mike, what do you think about this one?
I don't know David Baker at all. I do know Justin. I also know that Justin clocks out in like 4 out of 6 games, which is a big problem. And he's played an army that probably hasn't played very much, and one that requires a lot of thinking and consideration of movement, surging, all that stuff. So I'm going to go on like a parlay here. I'm going to say David Baker wins it, and Justin Langle clocks out turn 5, and that's why David wins. It's because Langle, the lizard guy, whatever, clocks out because he doesn't really know how to play his army, and he can't get over his own thinking and thoughts. We'll see, maybe not, but that's my take. David Baker. Dale just said. Does everybody see that? I hope.
Yeah, everybody sees that.
I will say, sorry, I have to chime in real quick.
Can we all just vote clock out for this one?
Yeah. The only person that pales that makes Justin look good was Chris Fisher. The first time we practiced for Masters in 2017, Chris Fisher clocked out on turn 3 against me. Turn 3, no joke. That was the only person that I've ever seen do that before. But Langle's getting close. So 4-hour game. My God.
Always playing a clock on UB. Hey, there's a convenient clock you can find on the internet to do that with. Anyway, Ray, what do you think?
I think Justin has 6 flyers, 3 greater air elementals, 2 air elemental hordes, and the Pegasus. And Mike, I'm going to show faith in Justin. Justin is going to clock out in turn 6, but he's going to win the game. He's going to have 6 flyers, and he has all the Pathfinder in the world. That I don't know why these Night Stalkers are not taking the Caterpillar or anything like that. So
I agree.
Justin's going to clock out in turn 6. David's going to try to hit the units with the tokens, but because they're going to be in woods or some form of terrain, it's not going to work. And Justin for the win. Turn 6.
Look,
Okay.
I will say the list that Justin's bringing, Alan's list, it is probably one of the best written lists I've ever seen. And you guys know I'm not nice when it comes to most of the list writing. I think it's a really, really strong list.
Cool.
But, clock. Yeah, it's funny that way.
Okay. And this is a list you need to be really careful with on the clock because there's every angle in the world that you have to consider. And it's also going to hurt David as well.
Yeah, David just needs to really challenge Justin, make him think, not give him anything easy. Don't just push forward and hope for the best. Make Justin work for it, and he'll clock out.
Steve.
I'm actually going to defend Justin, and
Don't do that.
and we played the last round of Pilgrimage, and he did not clock out.
He had nothing left to prove by the final round.
No, but we did not. He did not clock out. So I'm going to give him
With
that.
these in this list,
And with this,
No.
list, I don't know.
It's with ogres. It's with ogres.
That was with ogres,
Like when you're clocking out with ogres do one thing: they move forward. He was clocking out with ogres out the wazoo.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Justin. I just the fact that I think the Forces of Nature list is just so good. I don't know. I like like I said before. I think that the Nature's Wrath formation is the best in the game. You add 2 more greater air elementals on top of it with a bunch of surge casters. You got the Glade Stalker Druid with the Ring of Harmony, so you can do double heal or double surge nonsense. So yeah, I'm going with Force of Nature.
David, send your shade to punch that Glade Stalker and the penis. That's what you need to do.
I'm gonna go with Baker. I'm gonna go with David. Yeah, Justin's been playing for a good while, has a good amount of experience. This list is very potent, but I don't think he has a ton of experience with this particular list. This is one of those high skill cap lists that just gets better and better and better as you get better and better at using it. But I'm not sure that he's got the reps with this list to be able to get everything out of it that he's going to need to beat what is a really good, really solid Night Stalker list. And Shadowhawks, I believe, do have Strider.
Yeah, Shadowhawks and Strider. Yep.
And are pretty nasty. So I'm going to go with David to make it an even 2-2 split there. All right, coming down to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 tables left, folks. We've only been at this for an hour.
Are you saving the best for last?
I didn't have to. That's where Chris put them. So
Okay.
We will see when we get there. Stay tuned, folks. There's more fun to come.
Now, time for this ad.
Now, time for this ad. Buy shirts from Dash 28. We have ones memorializing Jesse. Money goes to spaying and neutering cats in West Virginia. It's a good cause. Do it.
Yeah, that's legit. That's the best ad I could have asked for.
Table 12 is going to be Felix Castro versus Kelly Wheaton. This is going to be a fun one. Felix is a super nice guy. Kelly's a newer player to Kings of War, but very, very long time war gamer, and generally a pretty nice and cool and agreeable guy. So I'm delighted that he started showing up for events, and I'm just excited to see Felix because I haven't seen him in a long time. So yeah, this will be a fun and polite and clean table. Halflings on Felix's side versus Abyssal Dwarves on Kelly's side. Felix is coming in at 19 drops. I think he might be the second highest drop army.
Yeah.
But second by a lot. Coming in at 28 unit strength and 12 drops over on the Abyssal Dwarf side at 24 unit strength. It's a pretty lean Abyssal Dwarf army. Over on the Halfling side, he's bringing five regiments of Braves and 2 hordes of Braves, a couple of Grenadiers and Aeronaut, triple Harvesters, just a 1 Sorcerer, triple flying captains on Airless, a couple of sergeants, a couple of mounted sergeants. The Abyssal Dwarf list is a little bit of everything. It's kind of a toolboxy list, but he's pretty good with it. It's got a Black Souls Horde, an Abyssal Berserker Regiment, an Immortal Guard Regiment, a Gargoyle Troop, a Half-Breed Regiment, a Slave or Gore Rider Regiment, a Lesser Obsidian Golem Horde, an Abyssal Grotesque Horde, an Ironcaster, a couple of Half-Breed Champions, which are really good, and an Overmaster on Ancient Wing Half-Breed. And when you see this army, you'll be like, oh my god, that is a Warhammer Fantasy army. And yeah, it 100% is. So cool. And it's just one of everything, and it's super old school looking, and it brings a smile to my face every time I see it. So where were we? Who did I start with last time? Anybody remember? I'm going to start with Ray then. Why not?
So I think this is going to be like the opposite table from Ed and Bert, where Ed and Bert will be a super fun game, but super loud, and everyone in the entire tournament will know exactly where that table is and how it's may or may not be going. This one, Felix versus Kelly, this is going to be like one of those super quiet, super nice, super congenial games, and one of the ones that I would love to play against either of these people. I played Felix once. It was awesome. Look forward to playing either of these people in the future. That being said, the Abyssal Dwarfs have the Pathfinder item. I'm kind of surprised by the Brew of Sharpness on the Lesser Obsidian Golem Horde. That's a bit of a surprise, not something you often see. But I haven't seen Halflings. I don't know how much reps anyone has against Halflings, because not many people have actually painted one of those armies and brought them onto the field. And for that, and for the After Dark hangouts, I'm going to be totally biased again and vote for Felix.
Hold on. Isn't Kelly going to be an aristocrat for this weekend?
Kelly is technically an aristocrat. I don't know if he's an official full-time club member, but he is at least merking for us, so we have a full 3 people to compete in the club.
I can appreciate a merc aristocrat coming in there to help out, but
okay. I want to give you all the information. You vote a lot based on club.
I do, but
I get it. No, Kelly lives like within 10 minutes of Alex and I both. So
Yeah.
he was at my place this past weekend. We're gonna
Well,
be
then-
bringing him on in.
Yeah.
That's fair, but he's not in now.
He's not yet. He's not yet.
I still have to
Yeah.
vote for Felix.
Like
so.
we have to beat the shit out of him for like 2 years, like we did with Mike.
Yes. That's still a work in progress, by the way. I'm still working on it. Yeah, like I think I was in a Warhammer Fantasy Club with Kelly in like 2003, thereabouts somewhere. Like,
And
he was
I was working at Games Workshop when he was shopping there in Springfield, Virginia, in like 2005.
right. Yeah, he
So what
was.
you're saying is
He was at Vanguard, and like I watched him roll his dice, and I looked down and I saw, I was like, those are some of my old club dice. Where did you get those? Like, I was in that club. I was like, ah!
So
We
funny.
played at different stores, but we're in the same club. No way.
Yeah.
Anyway, Steve.
I'm also going to go with Felix. Felix is bringing a lot of redundancy, and to really answer your question, I know that Felix has a considerable amount of reps with this army. They get their club, their Dayton, Ohio club gets together like once a week to play.
I know Felix has the reps with it. I'm not sure how many reps other people have against halflings.
Against it, yeah. That's I'm gonna go with Felix just because there's a lot of redundancy. He's got the and yeah, I just that's what I'm gonna go with. When in doubt, redundancy I think is a big part of it. So that's what I'm gonna go with.
Cool. Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I do respect. I mean, I'm looking through the halfling army right now because I don't know what the fuck any of it does. I admit, but I'm also looking through it and realizing that these units are really bad. Regiments of Braves are 12-14 at defense 4.
Yeah, they're goblin rabble.
Everything disappears. And to me, this halfling army would need to play something like goblins in theory. I don't know what I'm talking about here, all in theory. But they would need to have some shooting to really do the damage for them because I don't see a lot of damage coming out. There's master captains. What am I, Canadian? Master captains on winged Aralez. Those do some damage if they get flanks and stuff. So that's the only thing I would watch out for if I'm Kelly. But Kelly's army, everything just decimates that stuff in combat. I do see Kelly's worked his list a little bit since he played at my place this weekend. He got the Slave Orc Gore Riders instead, the infantry unit. Kelly's a smart guy. He's a good player. He's new to King's War, but he's no slack by any means. And he is repping our club, but even if he wasn't, I think I would pick him in this fight because I just think that Halfling Army is missing something, and that something is shooting that they need to really soften things up before they come in. So Kelly is my pick.
Okay. I'm also going to go with Kelly because I think like Halfling Braves are really points efficient. But I think you need more Grenadiers and Aeronauts to really come in and polish things off. And also Spell Ward. Well, let's see. On Kelly's side, is there an offensive spell anywhere? No.
There's
no,
probably
there
a
isn't.
fireball somewhere in there, but it's not.
Yeah, something might have fireball, but that's it, and who cares? So like Spell Ward is kind of wasted in this matchup. So yeah, I'm gonna be a homer and vote for my current Merc and possibly potential future clubmate Kelly to make that an even 2-2 split on table 12. Moving on to table 13. Grace Patterson versus Steve Forster. Hey, Steve,
That's
you're
me.
up in a Night Stalker mirror match.
Yeah, good.
Grace, done. Move on.
So similar but slightly different. Night Stalker list here. Steve's bringing Mind Screeches, whereas Grace is bringing Phantoms. You've got a Scarecrow Horde as an anvil, where she's got a Bloodworms Horde. You've got Shakira. She's bringing a Horror. You've got 3 Soul Flayers. She's only got 1, but she's also got a Shadow Hulk and a couple of Void Lurkers. Yeah, interesting. Let's start with Mike.
Man, Night Stalker v Night Stalker. That's going to be a theme of the weekend, I think. I don't know Grace. Where's Grace from?
Ohio.
Okay, she's one of those.
Part of our visiting Ohio contingent.
One of those folks. Are they taking like one bus here or what?
Basically.
Party bus. Woo.
I'm not gonna lie, Steve. You got a tuned list here. It is when you see those times three, it's somebody that goes, "Oh, I'm taking it." Right? You take 3 of something, and you're min maxing your way through the game, and I think that list is strong. The Scarecrows are such a great chaff unit. Butchers, we all know, are good. Minesweep. Yeah, I'm sorry. That goes to Steve 9 out of 10 times, regardless of the players. But I also know Steve's a good player. So, and I don't know you, Grace. I'm sorry, but
All right. Right.
Steve it is. He also just messaged me saying they'll give me $5 if I pick him.
Yeah, that was in the private chat.
Boom, need that money.
In the lead up to Vanguard, I got to play this list that Steve's using, or something at least very similar to it.
It's a little different, but yeah, it was a similar list.
And the amount of wind blasts you have, the speed you have with the soul flares, the lightning, it's a tuned list. And Steve, I think you beat me most of the times that we played, or at least 50-50, but
Yeah,
it was a tough list, and you play it well, so I don't want to fight it, so I'm going to vote for you, Steve.
All right. Steve.
I will abstain just because I'm a gentleman.
All right.
To answer Ray's question, we do have inspiring, and the Portal to Despair will give some inspiring to everybody.
I have played a Night Stalker v Night Stalker. It is so much fun when every roll is like, oh God, please.
Yeah. The first one to roll 11.
It's amazing. Yeah. I think that's one of the more entertaining games I've ever played.
Cool. I am going to vote for Grace, just to avoid the clean sweep. There you go.
I think Grace, honestly, I think Grace's list is good.
Yeah,
it's
double Void Lurker and Shadow Hulk has got a lot of punch.
It's just a little different from the others.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she could do some good things. It's just that Steve's list is really just like as tuned as a Night Stalker list can get, you know.
Yeah, no, this would also be an interesting match to watch. I would not mind getting to see this one. Two probably very practiced players in a mirror match is always an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah.
All right, table 14, getting down towards the end here. So this is going to be Josh Austin versus the Ringer. The Ringer match. The Ringer list is also Night Stalkers.
Yeah, who fucking did that?
Anyway, so yeah, we don't need to vote on this one because it's versus the Ringer.
We missed the opportunity to put Mastiffs on Mastiffs. Like you have the Shield Breakers, and the Iron Guard, and you have the 2 hunting packs, and you can put another 2 Mastiffs on them. Because dogs throwing dogs is always the best.
It is always fun.
Bees in their mouth, and when they bark, they shoot bees at you.
They shoot bees at you. That's right. He's got Gollix Fury. He's got triple Flame Belchers. I think he's the only dwarf list that brought Flame Belchers, which is kind of cool.
That's really good unit.
Yep. Some Earth Elementals and a lot of regiments. Some Brock Riders, a Dwarf Lord on Large Beast. It's a pretty solid dwarf list. And the Night Stalker list has got a Bloodworm Horde, a couple Phantom Troops, a couple Butcher Hordes, a couple Fiend Hordes, 1 Soulflayer Regiment, Shakira, the Butcher Flesh Ripper, which I think he might be the only Night Stalker list taking that. And then a few other pieces. Dread Fiends. I think this might be the only Night Stalker list taking a Dread Fiend, which is odd because those used to be very popular.
Yeah, I took them back in the day. They were such a bar, but they're not as good as they used to be. The points changed and nerve changed. They were broken back in the day, just not big enough to make a big impact. I will say, because we're talking about we're not making picks, but I actually am curious how Josh's list does. This is a good change of pace for dwarves. It's a very nice mix of things. Bring the Flame Belchers, got a little bit of everything in there. So I hope he does well. And I'm not going to argue with anybody whose name is Austin. I was going to pick him because of that alone.
Sure. I always feel weird voting on Ringer matches because like the Ringer's kind of supposed to lose, so it seems like kind of a gimme. And if somebody picks the Ringer over you, like that doesn't make it feel good.
That's not nice.
we'll just ride right past this one then. But just so everybody knows, this is what the ringer list looks like. All right, so that's going to bring us to the next to last table.
This is a fun one.
And this will be an interesting one.
Yes.
Marcelo versus Steve. Well, no, didn't Steve win Mountaineer a few years back? Am I misremembering that? When a bunch of the Ohio guys came over, I think maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe he won
did.
Best
forget
General.
about that. I think you're right. I think it was Best General.
Yeah.
I think
Because
Alex
the last Mountaineer was Dan Leutch won.
Right. It was the one before
It was
that.
the year before that.
It was the year before that when
Yeah.
Eric and Felix and I think a couple other people came over. So yeah, Marcelo's bringing his brother Mark at 14 drops, and Steve's bringing a Varinger list also at 14 drops. Marcelo has a little bit more unit strength, but he's got once again like triple Order of the Abyssal Hunt Knights, which is kind of the core of his list. He's got and also that Paladin Monster Slayer Horde. He's got that Exemplar Hunter with the Gauntlet mounted and the Blade of the Beast Slayer, which is nasty. He's got the Priest. He's got Host Shadow Beast 8. And then just some regiments and things to kind of get in the way, but like that's what does most of the damage there is those Paladin Monster Slayers, those 3 regiments of Abyssal Hunt, and that really nasty characters with the Host Shadow Beast on them. And then checking out the Varinger list, a whole bunch of Draugr Chaff, a couple of regiments of Mounted Suns, and pretty interesting selection of monsters. A couple of Jabberwocks, 3 Cavern Dwellers, which is pretty cool. A Mounted Lord with Snow Foxes, and a Snow Troll Prime. So it's like a little bit of like a monster mashy kind of Varinger list.
Yeah.
Which I don't know that I've seen before. But I know that Steve is a really good player, so if he's playing it, he's probably figured something out.
I'll say that. Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to make a pick right now, but Jabberwocks are a unit that I really think that there's some real tech to if played properly. They can be game changers. Save them for late game, keep them on back lines. They come in and go, oh, here's 18 attacks, crushed. They can be nasty. They're nimble. They have Pathfinder. They're a slick unit. I think he's got it right with 2 of them. Not overcommitting to it. Cavern Dwellers are an interesting choice because I'm not sure if they're good or not. But I'm going to let somebody else pick first. I'm just wanted to chime in on Jabberwocks.
I was just looking at this from like a theme perspective. Like this is completely in the fluff where you have Brother Mark being the monster hunters, being the order that's out there trying to hunt.
That's a good point.
Hunt the evil, and Steve's bringing the evil, bringing the monsters. And so from the perspective of like Kings of War fluff scenario, this is it. So I'm going to vote for Steve because good is foolish, but and Steve's a great player, and Steve's playing the monsters. But I think this would be it's going to be an amazing match to see. Both armies, I'm sure, will look outstanding on the table. I know Marcelo has a beautifully painted army.
By Cat.
And so his army is beautifully painted, and you have all the fluff and all the theme. And evil will triumph over good because evil's from the north.
All right. Sorry, I'm interrupting our path.
It's okay. Go for it.
Despite what but most people might think, I'm the good guy. I like rooting for the good guys. So I will play contrarian to you, Sir Ray, leader of the North. I like to play the good guy. I think the good guy should win. So I'll take Marcelo.
But that's because I'm the northern aristocrat, so I'll vote for the north, and you can vote for the good guys.
Yeah, because we're the real good guys down here.
Yeah.
We do all the work.
I'm going to move on to Steve before we get into an interclub match here.
I've been kind of kicking around theory listing some Varinger stuff. I like the bones of Steve Malone's list. There's a couple of interesting choices like the Cavern Dwellers. I mean, you had the option to take some. Steve just may have a conscience, but he had the option of taking Lords and Frostfang over the Cavern Dwellers. I don't know if that's just a conscience. Then he's like, I'm gonna be a nice guy and bring these guys instead. I think Burger is a really good spot. But that being said, I think Marcelo has the tools to deal with that stuff, and I'm gonna go with him.
All right.
Marcelo's got the chaff.
Oh yeah,
to really get in the way of a lot of. He can tie down some of that stuff, pick his fights.
Like I said, there's some tools that Steve has available, that the Behringer list has available to them, that Steve didn't take.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a cool Behringer list, and I kind of like this is
like
probably also one of the tables I would like to watch because I kind of want to see what happens. I know Marcelo's really good. This is kind of his standard list that he plays a lot, so he's got a lot of experience with it. I don't think this is necessarily a matchup that he's afraid of, because again, he has a whole bunch of units that are literally named Monster Slayer. However, I'm still annoyed about host Shadow Beast, so I'm going to pick Steve. Total pettiness.
Did he use it against you and like punish you for it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, Marcelo. No. Get the fuck out of here.
Basically, yeah. Last time I played Marcelo, like a one day that Steve ran, like I just could not kill that stupid character. And he kept getting off host Shadow Beast and wreck and stuff, and I was just like, this game sucks.
So he targets the Exemplar Hunter, I'm assuming.
Yeah. He had another dude.
In this one, he will. In this one, he will. That's pretty big, actually. I didn't even look at that, but like host Shadow Beast on a Hunter who gets like duelist against character monsters, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah, that's nasty. So he can go in and almost one shot these dwellers, and that's pretty dirty. It's pretty dirty, not gonna lie. And Crown of the Wizard King to make sure it happens. Yeah,
Crown of the Wizard King makes it 18-inch range for the.
Yep. So I think Steve is going to have a tough matchup because Marcelo does have the tools, but purely for pettiness reasons of not liking that spell, I'm picking Steve anyway.
That's what we expect out of you, Mike. Don't worry.
Exactly. All about those pettiness choices. All right, which will bring us to
feature match,
the final table. The final table of the evening. All right, here we go. Mike Ireland versus Ray Wyatt. Here's your 33 drop, 60 unit strength undead list. Sporting 30 regiments of zombies. One of them has an orb of towering presence because he just had some points.
He doesn't have enough strength. Yeah,
and then I think that should be 2 undead army standard bearers, and I missed
it's two of those.
Because I was at the end of typing all this shit up and I was getting tired. So literally on the last line I forgot to put it. So yeah, it's 3. Is it 61 unit strength? Did I mistype that too? Man.
Yeah. You piece
sorry
of
about
shit,
that.
Mike.
I know. I do okay, and then I get to literally the last army and type.
You do this together in what, like 3 hours? So
since
I think you're doing it.
60. The file says 60.
They don't account for the orb. They probably don't count.
Oh, they don't account for the orb. Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Now it makes sense. Sneaky. So there you go. All the zombies and 3 sources of inspiring versus Mike Island's 14 drop 21 unit strength Ratkin list featuring 3 hordes of shock troops, 3 claw shot troops, 3 weapon teams, mutant rat fiend, a war chief, a tangle, Mother Kryza, and some Kingdoms of Men allies, some flying beast cav.
Don't like that.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, sure. Bart. I am with you. I want to watch this movie. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to watch rats just throwing everything they can at advancing zombies and not being sure if they can kill enough. Ray, what do you think?
I don't think the Kingdoms of Men Beast Cavalry Horde will have anywhere to fly. With
it's going to go.
Zombies, I don't expect there's going to be any place for them to land. So it's going to be frontal charges by the rats. I think this is going to look like the scene in Aliens as the aliens come down the hallway and the rats are just shooting their ammunition to see what they can kill. Because, damn, that's a lot of zombies. But I'm going to go with Mike because I wouldn't want to be zombies hitting shock troops with ensnare, because no matter how many zombies you throw at them, you're not going to go through them hitting on 6s. And each one of them should be able to take it. Oh, there's still 30 zombie regiments. What the hell?
Yeah.
Mike, just go for scenario, because you can't kill 30 zombie regiments. You don't have the power to do it. So good luck. Scenario, call it a day. It's going to take Ray at least, 2 turns to get to the...
That's the problem right there.
Oh.
Yeah,
Get to
you're picking up. Yeah.
get to the tokens, pick them up, back away slowly.
So I'm going to go with Mike because rat can forever.
Fair enough. Mike.
I mean, I know Ray's design is play scenario strictly, but this one's tough because even if Ray goes first, Mike can jump on the tokens before Ray can. And then Ray has to kill something to actually get them back. And I don't know how you kill anything with this army. Ray's traditional 6 legion or 6 hordes. Is it hordes? Legion? I think hordes. 6 legions has some stuff in there to kill as well that you counterpunch with and stuff. And this doesn't have. It just doesn't have a way of killing anything. I mean, maybe he's got something up his sleeve because it's Ray, and he might not even have sleeves.
No, it's gonna be a tank top.
He might have short pants and a bra on or something.
He's just gonna drink and laugh, and that's his weekend plan, right?
I mean, I will say that I don't know if anybody's dropped 30 regiments on a table, but they're about 4 inches apiece, and the table is 60 wide, or I'm sorry, it's 72 wide. So he can get 2 rows of 15 with nothing in the way. And there's going to be stuff in the way, so he's going to have no choice but to layer up and stuff, which is cute, but I don't know that it wins any games. Maybe it does. I haven't theory hammered this ever, but
I think he took something similar to Best of the Rest a couple of years ago.
Took the Best of the Rest.
Yeah.
2020.
Did he do okay? I don't know. Nobody knows. It'll be fun if nothing else.
Did you do okay?
I think honestly, that Ireland will win just because it's a scenario. All he has to do is get it on the token, shit it out the back, hand it to another unit, and he's not going to die. And nothing's going to die. Ray just doesn't wake up.
There's going to be a 0. There's going to be. If this was.
There's our answer.
No.
No.
Yeah. So I'll take it from Ray. Ray's not going to win. So I'm picking Mike just because, but I love Ray still. We all know that.
Yeah. Steve, what do you think?
Ray Wyant's quickly become one of my favorite people in the community. This is part of it.
The blowjobs are the other part. Am I right? Oh, not you guys? Sorry.
Yeah, it's what we've all said before. I mean, it's just the scenario, and if it was a different scenario, we'd have a different conversation here. If it was, but I would also go with Mike.
All right.
Now you got to pick Ray, Mike.
I do, and that's fine because I was going to anyway because I'm dead all day every day. So yeah, I'm going to pick Ray. Boom. All right, that is our final table. So now let's take a moment and reflect on the field that we have seen here. And make a few overall predictions. So I'm going to ask you guys for 3. I'm going to ask you for a favorite list, which is just regardless of how you think it will perform, which one stuck out at you as being interesting or cool or clever or is something that you're like, hey, I think I would like to try playing that list to see how it works. I will ask you guys for who you think is going to, if you think there's a dark horse somewhere in there, so somebody that doesn't normally finish at the top, but you think is going to finish on the podium this time, that maybe people don't see coming. Maybe it's a different kind of list, or it's their first time playing it or something like that. So somebody to make a better than expected showing and end up near the top. And then finally, who we think is going to win best general. So I'm going to start with favorite list. And I'm going to start with Ray. I'll ask Ray what's stuck in his head.
Well, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say that there's 2 lists that stick in my head. One is Ray's list because, holy cow, 33 jobs, 61 unit strength, 30 zombie regiments, just still blows my mind. Don't know. I'd love to see it on the table. But if I was going to pick a list that I would want to consider painting and playing, because I don't want to paint that many zombies, it's actually Justin's list. I really like the amount of air elementals and earth elementals it has.
Alan's list.
So
Sorry,
I
I
think
can't.
Justin's list is really, really good if you're really good at the game and don't clock out. So I have faith. It's a list that I'd like to try.
All right. Mike, favorite list?
Oh, I'm going through them right now and trying to pick. Honestly, I think Joe Borghesi's list is the one that really jumps out at me as something. It's not, completely unique and out of left field by any means, but it's just a good list. It's one that I would play and want to play, and I would have fun playing. But I think secondary to him, the person that I'll pick for a dark horse that also might be up there and competing with favorite list is Dale. I think Dale's bringing at least a recently unique take on dwarves. It's a solid list. It's efficient. It's a good list. It really is a good list, and he's a good player. I would like to see him do well, so I'll call him dark horse. And what was the third question? I wasn't paying attention.
I'll circle back around to those.
Okay.
Okay. Steve, favorite list?
Okay, I'm also feverishly looking back. I think this is the one. Josh Austin, his dwarf list. Again, I really like the flame belchers. It's different enough from what you typically see with dwarves, but I play Keith Conroy a lot on UB, and he's been trying out dwarves, and he's been running the triple flame belchers, and it is tough. It's real tough. That Josh Austin's is my kind of favorite list.
All right. I definitely got to give a shout out to Ray. Just because that many zombies is just a thing to see. And I'm actually gonna. I would like to say Boehner, but I'm gonna end up picking Boehner for something else. But like Dark Elves were my first army when I started playing these games, so I still have a soft spot for those. I feel like, yeah, you mentioned Joe's list. I thought Joe's list was really interesting. There are so many Night Stalker lists that, and they're all kind of similar, so it's difficult to pick like one. It's a lot of fun stuff. I'm just gonna stick with Ray then. I'll just stick with Ray for favorite list. All right, dark horse. Mike already threw out Dale as a dark horse finisher. Steve, do you have a dark horse in mind?
I'm going to cheat because I gave this person as my dark horse for Vanguard, I think, and that's Kat. Her and Marcelo and Mike are like at every GT, ever. So yeah, I'm going to go with Kat. Just been playing those salamanders, and I think at one point that's just the reps and the quality of opponents that she's played. I think this may be her come through.
All right, picking Kat. Ray, what do you think?
I think Noah. I think being related to Alex, he's probably getting reps in against Alex. And
to Alex and Jake.
He's really Jake.
Sorry?
That's Jake's younger brother, not Alex's younger brother.
Yeah, that's Jake's younger brother. Ray,
whatever. Still going with it.
Okay.
What is going on?
I thought that was Alex was talking about getting his brother in.
Alex's brother. Alex's brother. I would give him some credit, but Alex Chavez's brother is not Noah Hutton.
No, that's true.
Still
going with it.
I'm going to go for a dark horse. Who do we think? See, a lot of these folks, I'm like, they haven't finished highly lately, but several of them could. Like Marcelo, this could be a good field for Marcelo to play against. Trowbridge is not a dark horse. Somebody already mentioned Lingle. I think Lingle's a pretty good dark horse pick. Any of the Night Stalkers could do it. I'm going to go with... It's a tough
Joe
call.
wouldn't be a dark horse, would he?
Joe Borghese? Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That's not a bad pick.
My serious choice.
Okay, you want to put you down for that?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go with Justin. Why not? I'm gonna go with Lingle.
It's not enough time in the world for Lingle to do.
Yeah, like dark horse. Yeah, that just means he's got to finish well. He's got a great list. If he's practicing with it, he gets good matchups. I think he could end up near the top. All right, now last question is: who do we think is going to win Best General? I'll start at the bottom and work my way up. Steve, who do we think is going to end with the highest battle score?
I'm saying this because it's gonna irritate Mike, and I'm gonna give it to Joey. I think it's his time. So I think part clubmate and part that I know Mike is just gonna have a conniption, at least a mini conniption about it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Joey.
All right, Mike, what do you think? Best General?
Not Joey.
Not Joey.
Joey. Look, I know Joey's a good player. He's always in contention for sure. But it seems like Alex is always the one that is either winning the tournament or picking up best general. So I'll stick to that. And Alex Chavez, best general. Well, hold on. Are we getting an award for picking the right things here?
That's up to Chris.
Okay. So the question becomes, is that who wins the whole thing? I can't say that I think Alex will win the whole thing because sometimes on overall he might not because he's using an army that's not paying anything.
So right, so just best general, not best overall.
Alex.
All right. Ray, what do you think?
Well, my first pick was actually going to be Joey, Steve. So I think it is Joey.
Fuck you both.
But to pick somebody different, just so that we have three different picks, I'm going to go with Jason Britt. I think it's Sylvan Kid in the list.
Jason's not coming.
I was going to say, wait a second. Did we even talk about his list?
Jason had to drop. Jason's not going to make it.
Yeah, that's why we have a ringer. I was like, wait a second.
Yep.
Well, fair enough.
That'd be very impressive if he won.
Yeah.
Oh. I might go with Alex. I do like his list. I'll go with Alex. The other still.
There we go.
I remember staying up during Vanguard talking about how I do a Sylvankin list with 4 or 5 Glade Stalkers, 2 of the Cav units,
Well,
and
Alex.
Forsyth.
You're going with Al Forsyth. All right.
I'm going to go with that.
All right. I'm going to go with Boehner.
It's not a bad choice, not going to lie. He's going to be up in the top 3 without a fucking doubt.
He's very likely to be up there, and I feel like because I think he just win. But he's playing a different list in Atlantic City. He was playing the Forces of Nature list. Yeah, no, I just think it's really solid. Once again, like my original army was Dark Elves, so I like seeing people so much face with them. Yeah. All right. So our picks for best general are Alex Chavez, Joey Greek, Alex Forsyth, and Alan Boehner. And that is going to bring us to the end of our broadcast.
Wait, sorry. We definitely have to vote for which club's going to win best club because
Aristocrats. Okay, good talk. Bye.
I mean, it's going to be three aristocrats and a Mid-Atlantic irregular.
No, it's gonna be hard for the cats this weekend. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. I'm pretty sure I'm bringing the cup to hand it off to somebody else.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm not 100% sure who it'll be. Maybe Nerd Hammer. I feel like they got a pretty good.
Nerd Hammer's gonna be.
If I'm being realistic, it's gonna be Nerd Hammer.
Yeah, me too. Not gonna lie.
I think so. It's their time.
I will be there Sunday morning to say hi to everybody. I'll have my little one with me. One of them, the 3-year-old.
Cool.
So
prepare for an uncomfortably long hug.
Oh, that sounds romantic.
All right.
Like you better be prepared for an uncomfortably long hug.
I got it.
All right. So I'd like to thank Ray and Steve and Mike for hanging out with me and going through the lists and the matchups. Appreciate it, guys. Good to
thank you for hosting as always. Great job.
No problem. I'd also like to thank everybody at home for tuning in and checking us out. We hope you found this interesting and entertaining, and you're excited about the upcoming tournament this weekend. Once again, Mountaineer GT is this weekend in Martinsburg, West Virginia. I believe there are still spots open because Chris had a few drops. So if you're watching this and you're not signed up and you're not doing anything this weekend, ping Chris Fisher and what is it, Mike?
Dale Motley just put George O'Connell as number 2 finisher. I want to revoke my choice for Dale Motley. Not really, but Dale, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Don't talk about George O'Connell in any bright light. Come on. I'm going to have a talking to with you, sir, on Sunday morning, bright and early. You guys are all going to be hungover as shit, and I'm going to be there with my kid and trash donkey. So, anyway.
Probably. And we'll all be, Mike's here. Yeah, so thanks for watching, everyone. Mountaineers this weekend. If you're not already planning on going, but you can make it, I highly recommend you check it out. It's a fun event. There's plenty of space. Chris is feeding us like every meal on site all weekend, so we don't have to go anywhere. Just barbecue and pizza. Yeah, no, it's my favorite way to do a GT. All in one place.
Beautiful. There's not a more beautiful place than Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Nestled in the mountains.
The panhandle.
Without the views of any of it.
Right. Wonderful views of a highway and some overpasses.
There's a Sheetz nearby.
There is with a
supercharging station.
With a Tesla charger. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I spend kind of a lot of time sitting at that Sheetz.
I was going to say you and Marcelo can go hang out over there.
Yeah, we'll just go sit there next to Sheetz. And so couple final reminders for folks. If you are planning on coming, please do try to get a COVID test done at some point this week. Just a rapid antigen test that you can do at home. I think are sufficient, and send the results to Chris. And make sure to bring plenty of printed copies of your list to give to all your opponents. We will be using the tabletop score software that we've been using at events recently. So make sure you have a device with you that you can use to input your scores and that you can receive emails on to get your table assignments for every round. The software has been getting better and better with every tournament that we've used it. So at this point, I feel like it's pretty stable, and we're unlikely to have any significant issues with it. So that should help the weekend run nice and smooth. And big shout out to Tim Lonis at War Chest Creations for developing that for us.
And I will say,
anybody?
Sorry, I was going to say final remarks on the scoring system. Everybody, please remember that every point matters, even if you're losing. Get what you can, pick up a point, and that's what whether you like it or don't like it, the scoring system. Get as many points as you can when you're winning or losing, because there's only points to be made. So.
Yep. Northern King's biases towards action.
Yep.
So go get them. All right. So once again, thanks to everybody. Until next time, I'm your host, Mike Atkins, saying you stay safe out there, and we will see you next time on Dash 28 Live. Bye, everybody.
Bye.